Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to be covering the catalog import process. As you can tell, there's another change of voice this week. My name's Joe. I used to work on the support team and now work in the cloud services team, so I've probably spoken to you all individually before. If you have any questions on today's session, just jump on the live chat. We've got Ollie Man in the chat today, so he can answer all your questions, and any information links he'll be posting throughout. So today we're covering the catalog import process, and that was decided by a Twitter poll we did. So just keep an eye out on our Prima Help Twitter, and you can have the chance to obviously vote. We want to make this content appropriate to the customer's needs, and there's no better way than you having the chance to vote. So there's a couple of points we're going to cover today. We're going to start by covering a new feature in Prima, which is the catalog mappings. And what that's going to do is that's going to remove a lot of time from your catalog process. Previously, if you have cost plus and discount off bands, you were having to go through each band manually and apply the relevant band you've got configured in Prima to relate. This new feature, once you've set it up once in the admin, there's no need to do that anymore. So we're going to cover that to start off with. Secondly, we're going to drop the PDC file that you receive from the data team into the import folder. I'm just going to show you how to do that correctly. Thirdly, we're going to show you how to update your product RRPs and your selling prices. And finally, we're going to cover something which we recommend that you do at least every quarter, ideally with every import of the catalog, which is to discontinue products that are no longer available from your suppliers. Ideally, this is best for web customers, but every customer, there's nothing worse than a customer calling up and asking or placing an order on your web for a product that is no longer provided. So we're going to show you how to clear them out. Okay, so we're just going to get started, as I mentioned, with the catalog mappings. So I'm just going to switch to my screen and we'll get started. Okay, so here you should be able to see now my Prima Cloud logon. And to start off, we just want to make sure we've got the application here set to administration. You've got your database name there already, and you want to make sure you're logging in as your user. As long as you have permission to access the administration module to make changes, you'll be able to log in with your username and password. So we're just going to sign in. Okay. Along the left hand side we have our menu structure. What we want to do is we want to jump into the general admin option, and then you'll see there's several options we've got inside of here. We want to select the very bottom option, which is catalog mappings. Okay, we've just had this button appear. I've got some set up already, and what I'll do is I'll just quickly remove them and I can show you a few examples being set up. Okay. You start the process by hitting new mapping, and now you've got your dialog setup box. So we're just going to go through the points. So we start with type, and what type is, this is the catalog that you have your bands set up to. So in my database, my preferred supplier, the supplier I major with, is VAL. So what I want to do is I've got all my bands and my pricing structure set up against VAL. I want to update my VAL catalog. As you saw, we've got some extra criteria here now that's just appeared. We'll start working our way down through the list. So we've chosen the VAL catalog, but you could have multiple VAL suppliers. Say you've got multiple accounts. You want to just select the relevant supplier to that catalog. So we're just going to select VAL again. Next box is info for. The info for is a field within the catalog lines where the supplier specifies the band that product falls within. So what the majority of customers do is they will, just a random example, they will give cost plus 20% on band A, 30 on band B, 40 C and D, and so on, or discount off. So you want to work your way through this list. We're going to start with A, and then in pricing band we're going to select the relevant band we've got set up in Prima, whether that's cost plus or discount off. We want to assign that price, the correct pricing band, to that info for. So you can see here I've got mine grouped actually, so I've got VAL green, and within green falls A, B and C. So So I'm just going to select this option here. When you're happy with what you've set, you hit insert as new mapping. Gives you the prompt to say that's set up. And if we just hit cancel for a second, you'll see it populates it in the grid now. So you can see that the supplier VOW, the info 4 of A in that catalogue, it's going to assign price band VOW green, A, B and C. What I'll do, I'll just quickly run through another one just to make sure everyone's clued up on that, and it'll give you a chance as well if you've got any questions before we move on to the next part to quickly ask them on the chat. So type is your catalogue you're updating, so we'll just select VOW. Supplier, the supplier that's applied to that catalogue, so in our case we're sticking with VOW. Info 4, we'll move on to B now because we've already done A. Price and band, we're just going to stick with VOW green because I merge A, B and C within that green band. Insert mapping, hit OK, cancel, and it's added to the grid. Now don't worry too much if you accidentally choose the wrong thing. You can just double click into the mapping you've set up, hit the delete button, and you can remove that mapping. Okay, so that's the first part complete. Setting this up, as I said, will save you a lot of time. It means previously you had to go through one by one each band, search for products. It was quite a lengthy process. The system will now automatically do that for you as long as you've got these mappings set up. So I highly recommend that you use that. Okay, we're just going to move on to actually processing the PDC file that you receive from the data team. You normally receive that via email, so if you haven't been receiving your catalog files via email, just contact our data team. We'll put the data email address in the chat. Just make sure you've got contact with them. You should be receiving files every month now, really. So I'm just going to follow the process now of putting that file in. So I'm just going to switch to my other screen. Okay, so you can see here I've got an example file which I need to import. Now the EDC runs on my machine, so on my machine there'll be an import folder. So if I go to my C drive, which you can get through via computer or File Explorer, I've got a Prima v6 folder here. I want to go into that folder, and inside is a subfolder called imports. Now I just want to drop the file into this folder, not into any of the subfolders, because the system does that automatically depending on the outcome of the importing of the file. Okay, so I've dropped that in. Now in most cases, most customers have their EDI constantly running throughout the day. So what's going to happen is that file is just going to get picked up. But in my case, I need to start my EDI. So I just make sure I'm logging in as a user that has permissions. I'm going to sign in, and the EDI is going to pick up that file. So you can see here, I've got a status of processing. I've got a little activity monitor to say it's picked up the file, it's in the middle of processing, and it's actually gone to a not responding status. Now this is normal, don't worry. Just leave the EDI to run and do its thing. When the job's complete, you'll see the process has ended in the admin. You could see there that it's actually picked up the file and it's saying it's processed. So we're all good on that part. And it's as simple as that in terms of just getting the PDC file into the system. Step 3, which we're just going to continue on with, is just updating the pricing. Now that we've imported that information into Prima, you've got your list of stock products, which is your central code, which all these catalogs link to. We just need to update the pricing of that central code. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to log back into Prima. Make sure I've got my application set now to a client, not EDI or administration. We want to log into the client to do this. Okay, I'm just going to full screen this for you. Okay. So the steps we need to follow. We want to go to stock on the left hand side where you've got your menu structure. We then want to go into the product pricing grid manager. Okay, you receive this little pop-up. Now some users may have used this before. It's a great way of updating products pricing en masse. In terms of just getting your catalogs imported, all we need to do is we just want to start by hitting the search button. We want to search for everything. So you can see at the moment my Prima's spinning around, it's searching for the products, and what's happening now is the system's going through your thousands of stock products you've got, locking them individual records so that people can't be updating information against them while you're trying to, so there's no errors. So it may take a minute or two. If you're a newer customer, there'll be less products to lock. If you're an older customer, you've probably got a lot more. So just give it a minute, allow it to run, and as soon as it's finished, in the bottom half of the screen there, you can see it pop. You've got the option here where it's telling you that it's locked 30, in my case 36,000 records. So just wait for that message. Once that pops up, you're good to continue. So now we've searched for everything. All we want to do is, you've got your tabs across the top, so we want to start by going to the results tab. In here it's going to list all the products it's locked. Okay, on the right hand side you've got the option here is pricing grid manager. If we click that, we can sort on that column. The reason why we're wanting to sort on this column is because we want to remove any products with a status of manual. Now if you've got products with status of manual, what that normally means is they tend to be own codes, sometimes maybe print codes. It's a code where you don't want any terms files or catalog imports to change the pricing that's currently assigned to that product. So we want to go through, in this case I've only got one, but if you had multiple you could click and drag. You could hold the control button if you wanted to pick the odd individual code out of the list. When we're happy we've selected all manual codes, all we want to do, we just want to hit the remove selected records button. So I've got one, I'm going to hit remove selected, and that's now going to go from the list. Okay, next tab along we've got change. We're just going to jump into the change tab at the top, and all we need to do is we need to select one setting in here and hit apply. So the setting you want to select is to update RSP and sell prices in priority order and not UL, and that means uplift. You want to select that option and hit the apply button, and once again you may notice Prima, the little spin and dial, that's totally normal. It's going through thousands of products, it's updating the pricing of them products, so it will take a while, so just bear with that, and as soon as the system's ready, available, it will let you know that you can use the system again. Okay, so in terms of getting your catalogs in the system, getting your products up to date, that is the catalog import process pretty much complete. Now it may take longer because the EDCs, if there's a lot of new products, the EDC is going to take longer to import the file. If you've got a lot of stock products to update, if you've got a lot of stock products in your system, it's going to take a bit longer to apply all the pricing to them. That's totally normal. Don't worry about that. So in terms of the catalog procedure, now we've got that new mappings feature. It's a lot quicker and it's a lot easier to follow through. Okay, one point we just want to cover, which is relating to the import procedure. We want to recommend that you follow this step to remove any discontinued products. You don't want to be selling products that you can't buy anymore. So if I just close the screen, okay, I'm just going to give that a minute to close. So what we're going to do is we're going to search for any stock codes where there's now no supplier available in the system, and we also want to make sure that we're not trying to discontinue any that you've got stock, because it may be discontinued with the supplier, but that doesn't mean that you don't have bulk stock in your warehouse that you can process. So when we're going through this next step, we want to make sure that we're only choosing stuff which aren't in stock and don't have a supplier. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up another session to process this with you guys. Just bear me a second. So I've just opened up another session for you. So we're just going to go through that process now. So to discontinue the products, all you need to do, we're sticking with the stock module. We're going to have a quick look in the product main grid manager. So it's the second option down. The product, it's quite confusing because they're quite close together. You've got your product main grid manager and below is the pricing manager. You want to make sure you're going into product grid manager, the main one. Okay. Got lots of filters here, so it's really good for, as I said, for updating on mass, but for the job in hand specifically, we want to look for anything with a supplier available as no. Okay, we're then going to hit the search button on the right, and as you can see again, Prima's just searching for all them products, and it's returned a total in my database of 2,670. Okay, same as the other grid manager, we've got the tabs across the top. We're going to start by going to results. It's going to list all the codes with no suppliers. So what we want to make sure here in this list, we don't want any own codes, because it might be the case that you don't have a supplier assigned to them, so we don't want to discontinue them. You want to highlight own codes, hit your remove select option. We also, secondly, we want to scroll across to the far right, and you've got two options here on the right hand side. You've got quantity available and quantity physical. This is your stock level, so you want to make sure you order them by that column by just simply clicking the heading will order it. You want to remove any you've got in stock. The system won't allow you to discontinue anything that you've got stock of, because you can still sell that stock off. So we're going to remove that. Okay. Finally, we're just going to jump into the change tab, and in here you can see there's several tick options of things we can update, but we're going to specifically use the product status tick option just here. When we select that, we've got the drop down where we can choose what status we want to update them to, and we're going to choose discontinued, and you're going to hit apply in the bottom right hand corner. What that's going to do is the system's going to go through automatically, discontinue all them products, and what the system does in the background, your central code, your stock code, so KF24001 for example, if you're trying to discontinue that product at any time in the future, the supplier could return that product back as a saleable product. So what the system will do is it will automatically update the stock code to have DIS hyphen in front of the code. So in the case that the supplier does start to resell a product again, you'll be able to create it in the future without receiving errors. So the system's dealing with that all automatically for you. Once you've hit that apply button, the process is complete. You've no longer got products that aren't supplied by Spices, Vow or any other supplier on your web store or in the back office, so you can't put them on sales orders by mistakes or quotes or even contracts. That's pretty much it. So we've covered the automation of the catalog mappings. We've gone through the process of getting the catalog file from the data team's email, putting that into the location of the EDI machine in the import folder. We've updated our RSPs and selling prices. We've also gone the added step of making sure we've got discontinued products removed from the system, so we're not having any problems with selling products to customers that we can no longer provide, and everything's up to date. You've got your whole new product range from your supplier, as well as removing discontinued products. So that's pretty much it for today's session. If you've got any questions, we will be staying on the live chat, so please just ask away. As I said, if you've not received any data files that you believe you should have, you can contact data@primasoftware.co.uk. You can drop them with an email and ask for specific catalogues. If it's available, we can give you that. You should be receiving your catalogues once a month now. The majority of suppliers used to be quarterly. It's now once a month because they're updating the product range so much. So in terms of the webinar today, the session's complete. The video will be uploaded onto YouTube automatically, so you can come back at a later date, watch it again next month. It may even be the case when we do the poll that next month you want to follow this process on the webinar again. It's a great opportunity for asking any questions while the video is going on. And just the feedback from you guys is great. So just keep an eye out on our Twitter at Prima Help. We'll put it all in the chat. We'll be doing another poll there. If everyone can just jump on there, vote what you want specifically, and we'll make sure we get round to doing that. Whichever comes out top on today's poll will be featured on next week's webinar. Just something alongside that to make you aware of. Today we've actually we're promoting the Prima Go Training Day. So it's a day in Widnes for a small cost of £99 plus VAT. It's a full day's training on the Prima web store. So we'll be going through with customers the control panel, the design setup, the back office as well, how you manage your prices through the back office to reflect on the web store. It's a great day for the staff, that the delegates that manage your web store, to get. It's a great opportunity, training opportunity for them to get one-to-one specifically on your web store, have training sessions, get together with some customers who are also have questions, and you can help answer each other as well. We'll have Prima staff that will be attending. We'll have a web developer there as well to discuss features and enhancements that could go into the web. So it's a great opportunity for training and also for ourselves to get feedback from you guys. So as I said, we'll be hanging around for a while. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. We'll leave the chat running for a little bit. So from everyone at Prima, we'd like to thank you, and we hope you have a great weekend and you found everything useful. Thanks a lot. Bye now.